Leo woke up before the sun, feeling a prickly mix of excitement and a nervous wiggle deep in his tummy. It wasn't just the first day of second grade. This day held a secret, monumental mission. Today was the day Leo would walk to school all by himself for the very first time. Usually, Mom or Dad held his hand, guiding him across the busy crosswalk and stopping to point out every friendly blue jay. But last night, Dad had looked him straight in the eye and said, "Leo, you're ready for a new adventure. You're ready to be the captain of your own journey." Leo had nearly burst with pride, but a tiny, cool knot of worry had immediately tightened inside his chest. Now, looking at his new backpack, a brilliant lime green color, sitting by the door, the mission felt enormous. He climbed out of bed, careful not to wake his sleeping sister, Mia, who was still too little for big kid adventures. The kitchen smelled of toast and the grown-up scent of fresh coffee, a familiar, comforting smell. Mom was already packing his lunch, humming a little tune that Leo recognized from his favorite cartoon. "Good morning, Captain," she said, winking and sliding a juice box into the lunch bag. Leo puffed out his chest. "I'm ready for the mission, Mom. Do you have the final instructions?" Mom sat him down at the kitchen table, pulling out the worn, colorful map they had drawn together weeks ago. This map showed the path: 3 turns, 1 major crossing, and the big red brick wall of the school. "Rule 1, she said, tracing the route with her finger. "Always stop at the corner of Elm Street and look both ways. Left, right, then left again." "Rule 2, she continued. "If you see Mr. Henderson's big, barky dog, just walk slowly and pretend you are a cloud." Leo nodded seriously. The dog was a terrifying, fluffy mountain of sound, but he was prepared to be a very brave cloud. "And the most important rule," Mom said, leaning in. "Remember that your courage is bigger than your backpack. You can do this." Leo finished his breakfast quickly, his mind already on the journey ahead. The walk was 6 whole blocks. He put on his shoes, noticing how scuffed and experienced they looked compared to his new, shiny sneakers from last year. He strapped on the heavy lime green backpack. It felt like wearing a small, important shield. He gathered his courage, which felt like a warm, buzzing energy behind his ribs. Dad came into the hall. "Big day, champ. Remember your secret weapon?" Leo touched the zipper pocket on his backpack. Inside was a tiny, smooth, gray river stone, his good luck charm. He said his goodbyes, receiving a tight, encouraging hug from Mom and a firm high five from Dad. Then he stood by the front door, alone. This was the moment. No hand to hold, no familiar push from behind. He opened the door, and the morning air, cool and crisp, met his face. The street looked totally different when he was standing on the curb by himself. It seemed wider, longer, and somehow louder. He took his first step. 1 block down, 5 to go, he thought, adjusting the straps of his backpack. He walked past Mrs. Penelope's house, smelling the sweet, heavy scent of her famous rose bushes. He felt a sense of quiet power. He was an independent traveler. The first 2 blocks flew by. He successfully navigated the first 2 turns without hesitation. He saw familiar things, but from a new angle. He noticed the bright red postbox looked like a big, quiet robot guard. Then came the first moment of doubt, right before the corner of Elm Street. Elm Street was where the big kids always zoomed past on their scooters, and where the traffic always seemed to rumble the loudest. Leo paused, the weight of his backpack suddenly feeling enormous and heavy. His breathing quickened. It would be so easy to turn back and run home, to the safety of Mom's hand. He squeezed the little gray stone in his pocket, feeling its smooth, cool texture. "Courage is bigger than your backpack," he remembered Mom saying. He took a deep breath, puffed out his chest again, and stepped up to the corner. He remembered the instruction. Look, left, right, then left again. He performed the check with the precision of a master pilot, ensuring the road was absolutely clear. He marched across the first half of the road and paused at the median island, feeling proud of his cautious speed. Then he heard it, the terrifying, deep woof. It was Mr. Henderson's dog. The mountain of fluff was standing right in its yard, staring directly at Leo. The dog, Barnaby, was the size of a small pony and sounded like a foghorn when he barked. Leo froze, feeling his legs lock up like two stiff pieces of wood. He wanted to run, but running, he knew, would only make Barnaby bark louder and maybe even chase him. He remembered Mom's second rule: pretend you are a cloud. Leo took another deep breath and began to walk, not quickly, not slowly, but with the steady, calm pace of a cloud drifting lazily. He kept his eyes straight ahead, focused only on the red brick wall far in the distance. He didn't look at the dog, didn't talk to the dog, and pretended he was floating, silent and airy. Barnaby stopped barking. He only whined a little, confused by the sudden appearance of the strange, silent cloud child. Leo passed the yard and didn't look back until he was 2 blocks away, certain he was safe. Phew! That was the hardest part, he thought, wiping a bead of sweat from his forehead. He realized that the challenge, once faced, was smaller than the fear he felt beforehand. He checked his special kid watch. He was right on time. His journey had been efficient. As he turned the last corner, he saw a girl named Chloe from his class, walking with her older brother. Chloe was usually shy, but today she waved at Leo, recognizing him from a safe distance. "Hi, Leo. Are you walking alone today?" she called out, sounding impressed. Leo stood taller. "I am the captain of my own mission," he declared proudly, giving a slight, confident nod. Chloe giggled. "Cool. I wish I could walk by myself. My brother is too slow." The casual conversation made Leo feel normal, not like a tiny, brave explorer facing the wilderness. He walked the last long block alongside Chloe and her brother, talking about the summer and the silly movies they had watched. The final stretch was upon him. The big, wrought iron gates of the school. The playground was already teeming with children running, shouting, and playing tag. The noise level spiked immediately, a sudden, loud burst of energy after the quiet concentration of his walk. Leo felt the knot of anxiety return, tighter than before. Now came the final, most exposed part of the journey, leaving his familiar street and stepping into the new, loud world of school. He paused just outside the gate. Chloe skipped ahead to meet her friends. Leo was on his own again. He looked at the vast, unfamiliar sea of backpacks and sneakers. He took out his little grey stone and rubbed it between his fingers, closing his eyes for a moment. He remembered the quiet morning, the smell of toast, and the steady confidence of his mom and dad. He had faced the traffic, the grumpy beaver engineer's dog, Barnaby, and the long 6-block distance. He was a brave cloud. He was a master pilot. He was the captain. With a sudden surge of determination, Leo opened his eyes and walked through the gate. He didn't run, he didn't slouch. He marched with a straight back and purposeful steps. He walked right past the basketball court and the climbing frames, straight to the entrance of the building. The hallway was quieter, echoing with the sound of his shoes on the polished floor. He found his classroom, room 2B, exactly where the map said it would be. He saw his new teacher, Ms. Penelope, not the rosebush one, a different one, greeting students by the door. Ms. Penelope looked kind, with gentle eyes and a big, friendly smile. "Good morning, Leo. I'm so happy to see you," she said, welcoming him inside. Leo felt the last bit of the nervous wiggle vanish, replaced by the warm, satisfying glow of accomplishment. He hung up his lime green backpack on the designated hook. He looked around the room. It was colorful and bright, smelling faintly of new crayons and fresh paper. He took his seat and pulled out his lucky stone, placing it gently on the corner of his desk. He had done it. He had walked all 6 blocks, followed all the rules, and arrived safely, completely on his own. The first day of school wasn't about the books or the lessons. It was about the journey he took to get there. Leo realized that being a grown-up wasn't about being perfectly fearless. It was about feeling the fear, acknowledging the knot in his stomach, and choosing to walk forward anyway. He felt a new kind of confidence, one that was earned, not given. He wasn't just ready for 2nd grade, he was ready for the world. The walk was his first real victory of the year, a secret triumph that belonged only to him and his trusty map. He knew that tomorrow, the walk wouldn't be quite so scary, but it would still be his adventure. And he couldn't wait to be the captain of his own journey again. We hope you loved the story of Leo's big adventure. If you loved seeing Leo find his courage, please hit that like button. Share this video with friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Storycraft's Kids channel for more amazing stories.